Hey YouTube, Kyle here. Labor Day weekend is upon us, and the end of the workday on Friday is here. So just kind of kicking back, hanging out, and thought I would do VR to Padre Piper. I don't usually do VRs, but I really like the content of his question, and I just couldn't help myself.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
No housekeeping at the moment because I'm sitting in my office, but later on this evening I will be enjoying one of those. Might be getting together with neighbor Tom. We shall see. Not sure how everything's going to play out, but to get to the question at hand, Padre Piper, and just on a side note, if you haven't subscribed to him yet or watched his videos, please do. I will put a link, try to put a link to his videos down in the bucket. But anyways, he asked, what was it that you wanted to do for a living when you were younger, and what did you actually end up doing? I think I kind of went from one end of the spectrum to the other, but I'll let you decide. When I was very young, right around, probably the time I started school, elementary school, I wanted to be a cowboy. I was a big fan of a television show that was on. It was probably on reruns at that point, but I got to watch it every morning before school. It was called The Big Valley, starring Lee Majors. And yeah, I wanted to be a cowboy. And as I got a little older, into school, I turned to music. I got into singing and playing the drums and playing the guitar, and decided I wanted to be a musician. Thought that would be a pretty cool thing to do. I was initially leaning towards like some sort of country music, and then later on I decided I was completely enthralled with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, those guys. I had it stuck in my head that I could be a lounge singer, and so I went off to college and majored in music, and kind of tried my hand at everything there: music education, music therapy, and ultimately ended up in just general music, like Bachelor of Arts in Music. And I came to the realization, what do you really do with something with a degree like that? It doesn't really allow you to do anything. So I took the easy way out and went back to my summer job, working in a factory as a maintenance mechanic. And I did that for, a few years, up until I got married, and we had our first son. And an opportunity came across my path to work for a mortgage company as basically selling mortgages. And it was going to be a lot more money, and I jumped at it. Didn't really know what I was doing. Never done anything with mortgages before. So it didn't go real well. The company ended up going under, and while they were going under, they started doing layoffs. Of course, as the new guy, I was one of the first to go. So we went from there to working a night shift at a different factory. This was a plastics factory, and absolutely hated that. I didn't mind the job, just didn't like working at night. And I was working like 3 to 11. So by the time I get home, my wife and the kids were in bed, and didn't do that very long, maybe 6 months to a year, and I just had it. An acquaintance of mine, I guess you'd call him, I ran into him at a get-together one night, and he was explaining that the company he worked for was hiring, and so I filled out an application, and I got the job. It was working in a warehouse for a company that they were a distributor of automatic doors, sliding doors, swinging doors, revolving doors, that type of thing. Pedestrian doors, not garage doors. And so I worked in the warehouse, loading and unloading trucks, and did that for a while, and then I moved into their drafting department. I worked there for 6 or 7 years. Then I became the purchasing agent for the company. Did that for about a year, and ultimately moved into the sales department. And after about close to a year in the sales department, I got a phone call from our biggest competitor asking me if I'd be interested in a job. And it was a pretty good gig. It was everything that I wanted, and was going to allow me a lot more freedom. So back in February, and now I started with a new company. I still sell automatic doors. We're a small fraction of one of the largest, probably one of the largest companies in the world, and I absolutely love it. So I feel like it went from one extreme to the other. Cowboy, excuse me, automatic door salesman. Just, like I said, one extreme to the other. So there you have it, Padre. That's it. That's about all I got. So, like I said, if you haven't checked out the Padre Piper, go check him out. Link down in the bucket. Everybody, peace.